Hi guys, Brazzle Gamer here. I want to talk about Illusion of Gaia. This game is really fun. I remember seeing it in Nintendo Power when I was a kid, and I was real excited about the blend of fantasy and real history. You know, you actually get to visit sites such as the Great Wall of China and the Nazca lines. It's really neat. I also remember that the game came with a t-shirt. I don't have that t-shirt anymore because I wore it out. Also, I had to replace the battery in this one to play it. So, I had to go through all that labor to make this review. So, I hope you enjoy it. In Illusion of Gaia, you play as Will, a kid who has some strange psychokinetic powers. He is the son of explorer Ullman who disappeared on his trip to the Tower of Babel years ago. Will is summoned to Edward Castle to deliver a ring to the king. Because he isn't sure where the ring is, when he fails to hand it over to the king, Will is imprisoned. While in prison, he hears the voice of his father coming from his flute. His father tells him to collect the mystic statues scattered among the world's ancient ruins, and take them to the Tower of Babel. Will escapes the castle with King Edward's daughter, Princess Cara, and they meet up with friends, old and new, along the way to the Tower of Babel. The story isn't all that compelling, though I remember really enjoying it as a kid. Playing it again, I honestly just wanted to get through any of the story sequences as fast as I could. The story isn't great, and the translation is atrocious. The grammar is terrible, and the characters sometimes say things that just don't make any sense. When you sneak up on Eric on the Incan ship, he says, "I was surprised." What? Who talks like that? Will also can't decide if his lines are in the first or third person. Sometimes it seems like his dialogue is being read by a narrator, then it will inexplicably switch up so that he's the one doing the narrating. There are also points in the game that, for whatever reason, the dialogue box will just disappear when you press a directional pad button. This doesn't always happen, but sometimes it will do it during a story sequence. You can't go back and see what that person just said, either. The poor translation honestly took away from my enjoyment in playing this game again. Because I had to record everything, I didn't skip through the dialogue as fast as I could. Any return trips to this game, I'll be paying little to no attention to the story because it doesn't make a lot of sense and the translation is just bad and distracting. Illusion of Gaia really shines in all other aspects. The graphics are really good. The only low point on the graphics, in my opinion, is on the character sprites for all NPCs. NPCs, even the named ones, look pretty generic. The backgrounds, enemies, and the player characters all are some of the best on the system. Everything is super detailed and interesting to look at. The game is colorful and everything just pops. The music is fantastic. It's actually some of my favorite video game music on any system. My favorites being the themes from The Pyramid and Angkor Wat. They both give you a sense of urgency and are mixed very well. There are a lot of instruments and the melodies are very catchy. The gameplay is pretty great. Will has the ability to transform into Frieden, the Dark Knight, and Shadow, the Ultimate Warrior. Everyone controls just a bit floaty, but I never found it distracting. Killing enemies is satisfying and fun. The game gives you an incentive to clear all the enemies from every room by powering you up every time you do so. If you clear all the enemies in an area, you'll be rewarded with a permanent attack power, defense power, or health bonus. It's the game's way of leveling you up. These are all essential to collect, as the enemies get tougher and tougher the further you get into the game. There are also treasures scattered around the world, which really rewards you for exploring. You can collect 50 red jewels, which can be delivered to Gem the Jeweler, who disguises himself in every major town. As you collect jewels, he'll give you power-ups, new abilities, or a health item depending on how many you've collected. If you collect all 50, you get to play through a bonus dungeon that throws back to another Enix game, Soul Blazer. Unfortunately, I was unable to get footage of this dungeon because I missed a few red jewels. If you want to collect all 50, you'll need to consult a guide. I remember the instruction manual for the game having all 50 jewel locations in it, so if you have that, it'll help you as well. The bosses are all interesting and fun to fight against. Most times you'll fight them as Frieden, but you'll also fight a boss as Will and a boss as Shadow. At the end of the game, you'll get to fight all of them again using Shadow, who is vastly more powerful. You'll clean up some of the earlier bosses pretty quickly. The end boss of the game is pretty easy once you figure out the pattern. Remember to use Shadow's ability to melt into the ground to avoid some damage. All in all, I really recommend Illusion of Gaia. I just kind of skipped through some of the story spots if bad grammar and bad translation really grate on you, like they kind of do me. You can get it for about $20, physical copy. I don't believe that it's on the Virtual Console right now, so kind of limits you. I mean, you could always go the emulation route if you don't want to buy the console, but a lot of people are against that, so keep it in mind. I really think that this game would benefit from a PSP or a PS Vita re-release with maybe a little bit of updated graphics or heck even a 3DS re-release. It'd be really neat to see them retranslate this game, repackage it, and make it a little better, a little bit better. Gameplay's solid. I really recommend playing it if you haven't. So check out Illusion of Gaia. Later.